Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thanks replay viewers and thank you YouTube replay viewers for watching as well. If you're new, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. I'm the author of Sew and Stitch Embroidery, and I'm here every weeknight on Facebook Live for about an hour a night at 9:30 p.m. Central. So thanks guys for coming in. We relax and craft and work on a project together here every night. And right now we are working on the hand-stitched project, English paper piecing project right here. Isn't it pretty? From the Wise Craft Quilts book by Blair. There is links for the book and the project above and links to the templates if you want to work on it with us. We'll be working on it for at least a good 2 weeks here, so there's plenty of time to get all the supplies that you need. I downloaded the template, which is also above here, the little coloring book template to kind of draw out how I want my colors to be. We're going to do a little kind of pink flower, I think. And yesterday was the first day we worked on it and we got started. We got a few pieces. Tonight we're going to start off with stitching this I was going to say curve, but that's not a curve, this Y seam right here. So that is the plan. Here are the little paper piece templates all in there. All right guys, thank you again so much for joining me. I appreciate it. If you know someone that might be interested in learning how to English paper piece, be sure to share this video with them or give some hearts and thumbs ups. That always helps the algorithm go up a little higher so your friends might be able to see it. So awesome. Oh yeah, nice wall organization. This was my Saturday. I organized all my rulers and my rotary cutters. I got some more stuff down there. It needed to be done, so that's what I did all weekend. Just make my space a little more organized. Oh, feels good to do that every once in a while, right? All right, guys, I'm going to flip you around and we will get going tonight. Terry, if you are commenting, then you are watching live right now. This is from when we did the bunny stitch along. This is actually stitched to the shirt here. We did that for the stitch along. So awesome, guys. Gonna flip you around. If you have any questions about this, any questions about the project, just let me know. And if I miss your comment, just comment again. Sometimes the comments go pretty quickly here. So thanks again for coming, guys. Flipping you around. Let's get going. All right, so here are all my stacks of fabric all ready to go. And there's Zeb with my needles and my pins ready to go. Some thread. So I have my stacks of fabric to go with the colors from the piece here. I'm just looking. Kathy, my parents were just in Traverse City. So that's pretty neat. Are the sizes, Lisa, the sizes of the template pieces, here are the template pieces. The sizes of them are actually in the book. So if you get the book, then you will have the sizes and then you can look up and download the sizes. It's not actually in the book, but the sizes are in the book, so you can download them there. However, I totally recommend getting the template pieces, and I have a link for that above as well. And that's what I'm using. I'm using the pre-done template pieces, so I didn't have to make them myself, which is kind of awesome. So all the pieces are in that template thing if you grab one of those. And we'll be working on it for a little while here yet, so if it takes a few days, don't worry, we'll still be here. So awesome. So we left off yesterday. We had stitched, we made our centerpiece and a couple little phalanges here, the little two pentagons. One we've been doing with the glue basting, which I think is just a really quick way of doing English paper piecing. But I did show also the more traditional thread basting where it's just a few stitches that are holding these corners and edges together versus the edges being completely glued down. So I actually really love this way of doing it when I'm on the road, and there's something special about just doing something with just needle and thread. So I do like that. However, I do like the glue. I get the sharper edges, and it's just super duper fast. So I think we'll continue with the glue a little bit more tonight. And you can, we sewed this piece together already. I kind of wanted to show the process a little bit, but you can make all these pieces all at once before you start sewing them together, or you can make one and sew it on. I think that's kind of nice too. So however you're feeling, it's all okay. Also, I've started from the center and I'm kind of working my way out. You don't need to do that either. You could easily start from up here and work your way this way, or you could do it in like quadrants. Whatever feels good for you. That's kind of the beauty of English paper piecing. It doesn't really matter. As long as you get all the guys in the right spot, you should be good to go. So I'm going to start out tonight sewing this guy on to the centerpiece and this piece, just because I want to show you guys how a Y seam is done with English paper piecing. Oh, and Blair just joined. Blair is the designer of this project, and it's her book that we're doing this with. So check out Blair's Facebook page. He's going to be doing some live streams coming up for this too. But this is her beautiful project and her beautiful book, both which I totally recommend. I did a blog post of my 5 favorite sewing books, and her book, I'm going to show it again for you guys. Her book is on that list. It's it's Wisecraft Quilts right here. Look at that jean quilt on the cover. Isn't that something else? And again, if you're just joining us, we are doing the hand stitch project from her book right there. Isn't that pretty with all the different scraps and colors? We're gonna do different scraps as well, but it's gonna be, I don't know, a little more bright, I suppose, with all the little penguin and fish fabrics and a little cutesy. And we're going for this flower look too. We'll see how that goes. I'm not sure how that's gonna look, but I think it's really pretty. It looks like almost like a stained glass flower almost. So I'm hoping that's what it kind of ends up like that. So anyway, let's get going on this guy. I'm gonna get some thread. I'm using 50 weight Aurifil. I think the thinner the thread, probably the better for English paper piecing. Oh, your guild's getting it too, Antoinette. Oh, yes, I love the book. Oh, and Irene, yes, it's a beautiful book for sure. Okay, so I'm using, Zeb's holding all my stuff here. Isn't he cute? I love him so much. So I'm using a size 10 straw needle or Milner's needle. It's like a sharp needle, like a normal quilting sharps needle, but it's a hair longer. And that length I think is really nice. So that's why I'm using it here. I was using it for needle turn applique the other week and for the first time, and I think, oh, this is gonna work great for English paper piecing too. So that's what I'm using. The 10 is pretty thin. You want kind of a thinner needle so it doesn't make huge holes when you stitch, because you are hand stitching this all together. But all right, let's get some thread. I need enough thread to go from here to here, but I don't want much more because it can get all jangled up when you are doing needle or English paper piecing, I think. I like using just the shorter lengths. So I got about, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 inches here. I'm gonna just tie a little knot in the end. You can do that however you see fit. I just like twisting it around a bunch of times and holding the loops there and pulling it through. I can't do that thing where you just grab on the end and you just go zoop and then you have like a perfect knot. I haven't figured that out yet, so we'll see. Superior threads works well for you. So the difference there is that I think superior threads is usually, that's a polyester thread versus I think this Aurifil is a cotton thread, so I think those are the difference there. Yeah, I ordered the straw needles online, Phyllis. I did put a link in my post above here for the ones that I got. Actually, I think I put a couple different variations on there because mine took forever to get to me, so I put like a Prime, Amazon Prime one on there too. All right, So working with a Y seam here. I always like stitching from right to left, so I'm going to start here. I think it's also good that I'm stitching it to like my main center area here. So I'm going to start by, you know, we're matching up these edges here. So I'm going to put right sides together like this. I'm going to let this guy just hang out there. And I'll try some superior thread sometime. I'll have to look that up, MK. All right. So I want to just make sure that my points are matched up here. I'm going to do this the same way that I did last time with the whip stitch. So I'm going to start out by going into the corner here of the side closest to me. You can go the other direction too. I always go away from me. So I'm gonna go grab that other corner, and I am only going through, or at least I'm attempting to, only go through the fabric, not the template at all. There we go. So went through once. I'm gonna go through again right now. Go through both little points, and I'm just grabbing, oop, I think I got stuck on the paper there. I am just grabbing 2 or 3 little threads from either side of that fabric. Oop, come on, needle, there we go. And you can actually put the needle through that loop to make a little knot as well. Oop, I think I gotta go through again. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna just go do a whip stitch all the way along this edge until I reach where all these points match up. So let's do that. I'm going about 1/8 inch or maybe a little less away, and just going from bottom to top. You can go top to bottom too, but I'm perpendicular to that my edge here. Then a stitch length away, and again perpendicular through both edges. And again, I'm just trying to catch, oop, got a little bloop in there. I'm just trying to catch the edge. All right, so if you get one of these loopy little knots, just put your needle within that knot. Oh, weird. Oh, that's just the edge of my thing. But if you just put your loop or your needle in that loop, then usually it just pops right out. All right, let's keep going. All right, I could again, to help me hold this down, I'm gonna just grab a Wonder Clip and clip my 2 pieces together. Now my edges can stay together without me having to pinch my fingers so hard. Oh man, you guys, I just lost my needle on the thread. All right, let's clip a good, nice edge. That edge is getting curly and wanky already. And let's rethread the needle here. There we go. Bottom and up, straight through. Thread just likes getting curly quick. This is probably what that thread heaven and all that is good for. Have you heard that, you know, thread heaven? I haven't actually ever used it before. It's been recommended to me. It's a thread conditioner, but they're retiring, I think. So no more thread heaven is gonna be made. So if you like thread heaven, you should order whatever you can now, because they're apparently not selling the formula or anything either. It's just gonna go away. So thread heaven's kind of an alternative to wax, to just kind of make your thread, coats your thread so it doesn't twist and all that so much. I'm thinking for this hand stitching that'd probably be a pretty good deal. But yeah, so if you haven't heard, it's been going around on the interwebs, but thread heaven, yep, there's gonna be no more thread heaven. So stores are stocking up right now because you know, they're not manufacturing it anymore. And if you really love it, you should stock up too. All right, so I'm at the corner. I'm going to go through that corner point twice, like how I did at the beginning. There we go. So that's, I can undo this guy now. Here's that first, the first edge of the flap. That's all on. So now we have to go up here. So in theory, we want to put the right sides together, correct, like this, but it's kind of difficult because of this piece, right? That's this whole Y seam problem. Well, in English paper piecing, what you do is you just give it a little bend, and that's how it's done. So don't worry about your templates. It's going to be fine, but that's how you do it. You just give it a little, you don't want to necessarily kind of crease it, but you just bend that piece to make the Y seam. So if you're nervous that that's what you're doing it right. So don't worry about it. I'm going to just line up my edges a little bit here. You definitely, a wonder clip helps when you're doing these Y seams because, oh man, I can't do this left-handed. There we go. Because it does get a little, it wants to pop back up because you are kind of bending this, right? But there, now we're ready to do this line here. And we're gonna start the same way. I'm gonna pretend I'm starting a whole new edge. I mean, we are. So I'm gonna pretend that I'm not hooked into this first corner. I'm going to start this red and yellow corner as if that's the only thing that exists here. So even though we did the yellow or the red and purple together at the corner, now we're going to do the red and yellow together at the corner too. So I'm going to go through around there twice. Again, just grabbing the fabric, not the end. Going for it, MK. All right, and then you can go through there, your loop again to make a little knot. And there we are. Now I can just go up to the other edge again. Got a little guy in my way, but that's okay as long as it stays on this side, my little fabric end or thread end. All right, so whip stitching it up. I'm just gonna snip that guy out of here. He's in my way. Oh, thank you, Joyce. My husband and I got birthday massages from his parents. Gave us massages because both our birthdays are in summer, and we finally used them. And the salon that we were at for them had a bargain bin of half-off nail polishes, and I saw this kind of green sparkly, and I'm like, I think I need that. So that was my fun purchase last week. And my nail polish always kind of ends up matching whatever project we're working on, I feel like. I don't do that on purpose, but I feel like we're doing these fun green leaves, and now I got the green nail polish for the next couple days at least. When it comes to take the paper templates out from behind the fabric, what holds the folded fabric down? All right, that's what the cool part is. So I'm not going to take, Susie, I'm not going to take the paper pieces out until they are completely surrounded. So what I mean by that is, for example, this center octagon, I am not going to take that piece out until it's surrounded on all sides. So once every single side, all 8 sides, has another piece stitched to it, that's when you can take the fabric out. And what's going to keep your edges down is that they'll be stitched around the whole thing. So you won't need to hold the edges down anymore because it's stitched. So those will just be loose seam allowances at that point. And some people wait till the end for that to take all the pieces out, and some people, depending on the project, they don't take the pieces out at all. I've done an English paper piecing where I glued it onto a notebook afterwards, and I just left all my paper pieces in, and then I put the glue like right on the paper, and that's perfectly fine. I think Blair in her book, and she's going to be doing this on Facebook too. So if you're interested in how she does it in her book, she frames it really, really, it's so pretty. Frames it in, a nice frame and mounts it. I think in her book she mentioned that she left the English paper pieces or the template pieces in for that as well. So don't feel like you have to take it out. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with my finished piece yet. I'm kind of leaning towards making a pillow out of it. It's not like I need more pillows, but I do think it'd make a really pretty pillow. And so I'll probably take the paper pieces out as I go. Okay, there's Blair saying, Blair says I left the paper templates in for the image of the book, but you can do either way. Awesome. So, all right, I'm at the corner here again, so I'm going through twice, and I'm adding that extra little knot by putting my needle through the loop there. All right, and then I can just weave in again the back. All I'm doing is weaving in once just so my thread is pointing kind of towards the inside here. I like taking them out as I go. I like the feeling of it feeling like fabric again. That's what I think is just so cool about it. We're doing this neat little technique to hold everything in place while we need it, but then in the end, it's still going to just be fabric and, the seam allowances and stuff. So I like that. But here we go. That's our Y seam. We got that all stitched together. All the corners are together really nicely. And again, one was glue based and one was thread based. Oh, I was thinking that I stitched in this thread basting, but I didn't. This one didn't have that big jump because I started there and went around and ended there. But there we go. So our first couple pieces, you can see that my seam allowance is already popping up there. That's okay. So, alrighty, here is the first bit. I think we will just keep going. So let's go ahead and prep all the rest of these pieces, and then we'll stitch them on. So some people like stitching all these pieces, like they'll skip this stitch and then they'll just stitch all their pieces around the middle and then go back. I think I'm going to keep doing how we're doing it here, stitching over in the Y seam. So stitch over, Y seam, stitch over, Y seam, stitch over, Y seam. I think that's my plan. I kind of like doing it that way. So let's continue our pieces. So I think I have them all right here. Again, I put a hole punch in them because that's going to just make it easier later. I can just stick the needle in there and, after I release some of these seam allowances here, but I'll just be able to pop that right out. All right. So that's why I always put it like a little hole punch. I got my little 1/8 inch hole punch here. I just punched the pieces. We've punched these ones already. So they will just go around the rest of these edges, ultimately. And so I need 3 more yellows and 3 more of these pinky reds. And I think I have the 3 yellows right here. Why don't we just start with those? So I'm going to scooch this here. I got my Soline glue. It's just like a glue stick. It's just an alternative to that larger glue stick. All right, so I'm just going to grab 3. We can re-put them on later. Okay. So we're going to do this how I did it last night with the glue basting. And I'm going to just give them a press as I go. These all came out of my fabric bin of scraps. So they're all kind of wrinkly. They're all kind of, actually this is not wrinkly at all. I don't think I have to press that one. But they're all jumbled up in my fabric bin of scraps. So they need some pressing. I would give it a little press before doing it. You can press all your pieces all at once beforehand if you want, but I'm just doing it as I go. I got all my stacks of fabric out here. I'm playing it loosey-goosey here. If you plan it out a little bit more, that's perfectly fine. Oh, Lisa, this would be darling as a quilt. You could do a whole pile of these. You could do like 6 of these and then put them in pretty squares and put them in a quilt. That would just be really lovely. All right, so I'm going to flip it over so the wrong side is facing me. And luckily I can kind of see the design through here. I'm going for yellow, right? I want to do it like here. I want it to feel as yellow as I can. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to go over this green or red really. I think maybe I can tuck it in right here. If I get a little bit in, that's okay. There, maybe like that. So again, I need enough seam allowance. I could do like 3/8 of an inch or so seam allowance, enough to, you know, cut all the way around and flip it over. So I'm gonna put a little, let's see, maybe up here. Yeah, I think we are in a good spot right there. We'll have a little tip of green in there, but I think that's okay. All right, I'm gonna just put a little dab of glue there just to hold it down while I cut. Teeny, teeny, tiny dab. And you don't need to do that either. I could just hold this and cut, but you know, why not make it easy for myself with a little glue? And your cutting, again, does not have to be perfect. You could actually just use a square and it would be totally fine. So I'm just rough cutting. If you want to cut perfect seam allowances, go for it. I'm just letting you know that you don't really need them. I am going to cut this selvage off though. The selvage of a fabric is woven tighter than anywhere else. The selvage is the side. Oh, here you can't see it from the front, but it's usually where the name of the company is written. Like here. Here's a good selvage right there. So that's the side of the fabric. All right, done with that guy. All right, so let's prep him. I'm gonna glue all the sides here. So let's start with this side here. I'm just picking a side, it doesn't really matter. Gluing along that edge. This is the glue basting part. So then I'm gonna fold that edge over, get a nice sharp edge, and then I'm gonna just finger press out on either side. So I got like one nice long edge there. And then let's rotate, do the next side. So last night we did do some thread basting too. So just pick whichever style you like for sure. Again, we're doing the glue basting for most of this just because it's fast and easy. I do think though, if you're planning on doing all your pieces and you don't think you might work on it right away or something, in that case, I might thread baste it all. Because I mean, if you thread baste it, I mean, that's not going anywhere. That'll, you know, those knots are not gonna untie themselves, right? Whereas glue, like, you know, like here, the glue could kind of pop up eventually. Even here, it's looking like it's already popping up a little bit. So if you're gonna leave these for a long period of time, I would maybe think about thread basting instead of the glue basting, but we're stitching them right away. And I'm doing it the way too, where I'm stitching as I go, kind of. I'm not gonna make every single piece first. If you wanna do, that's perfectly fine. Valerie, you found the glue the best. Oh, the templates stay in place better. So I do agree with that, Valerie, because of these nice sharp edges. And I found this out on when we did all the English paper piecing for the Splendid Sampler project. But those nice sharp edges really make everything hook together just super duper well. With these thread-based ones, the edges are a little looser. They're not as tight on there, not as sharp. So it kind of expands more and more as you go, and things don't fit together as well, I don't think. So this glue basting, I mean, it really, especially for, you know, you got an intricate piece here, the glue basting is really helpful, I think. Oh, thanks, Joseph! Oh, you already have 2 English paper projects, so can't do this. Glue basted. Oh, you glue basted all yours too, Renee. That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's just fast. A couple of years ago, like when we started the Splendid Sampler, I was kind of wary of the whole fabric plus glue thing. It just seemed weird combining the two, but I'm totally with it now. It's just fast, easy, it does the job. I don't think there's anything to worry about. All right, let's do a couple other yellows. We're just gonna prep enough to go around the edge here, and then we'll sew. stitch them together again. All right, here's another case in which I want to get as much yellow as possible. This is a whole thing though too. With English paper piecing, you can fussy cut, which basically means you can frame a motif in the shape however you want. Like we could get this little bird in here, right? I could have like this little kind of birdie poking out here, which would be super fun, but I'm kind of going more for color. I don't really want one motif to pop out. Like I feel like if I put a bird in it, your eye's gonna go straight for the bird. So I'm gonna err on the side of getting more of this yellow. So I think I'm gonna put this guy right there. Maybe we can get a few of these little leaves and we'll move it over a hair. How about like that? All right, let's dab that. Oh, you sewed your first octagon today. Nice work, Sally. All right, tiny dab of glue. Let's cut this bugger out. Again, I'm just using a scissors. No need to make this like a perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance or anything. I could even make a rounded shape, doesn't matter. As long as you have enough seam allowance, that's what you want. All right, there we go. Done with that fabric. Let's go around all these edges. There we go. Ooh, this is a bright yellow. Oh, thanks, Libby. Yeah, that fabric was from the second fabric collection I ever did. It's from the same collection as that purple one in the middle. All right. You guys, I'm thinking of doing a, I talked about this a little bit the other day, but I cleaned up all my fabric and discovered, or I organized it. Spent like 3 days straight organizing fabric. Ugh, I don't know what got into me, but I discovered that I have a whole lot more penguin and fish fabric than I thought. So I may have a yardage sale soon, hopefully before the holidays, but I don't know. We'll see. But so I've never sold yardage before. It's always been fat quarters. But I have yardage from every single collection that I've done. I've done, I don't know, 10 or 11 collections or so. So I might do a yardage sale of a bunch of that, and then there'll be some fabric like this available from way back when I started doing fabric. All right, there's another one. Look how bright that one is. I like this yellow piece. That's what I wanted. I wanted like these bright yellows. All right, one last yellow. It would be fun to maybe do another one of those, but we're gonna do a different one. Ooh, this is wow, this is almost, I could make a binding out of this maybe. Let's see if I can fit one of these in here. Ooh, just barely. Maybe if we rotate it a little. All right, I'm a little close to my edges here. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm a little close to the edge, a little closer than I'd like, but close, not close enough that I am not going to use the piece. It'll just have a little bit smaller seam allowances. These other ones I'll make normal size, a little bit bigger. Oh, awesome, Susie. Good. I'm glad you guys are excited. Yeah, I found the fabric. I mean, I didn't even know I had that much, that I had yardage at all. I'm in my head, I think I was saving it to make a pile of quilts out of, but then you discover it doesn't take that much fabric to make a quilt. And then you're like, oh, guess I don't need all that. All right, let's glue this guy down. And then we'll glue those red pinky ones yet for this, and I think I'd like to try and sew at least one more on tonight. Then tomorrow we'll sew the rest of this inside, hopefully. Ooh, I don't think I got enough glue on there. It felt a little funny. There we go. All right, next side. Ooh, here's that small seam allowance side. Ultimately, we'll be okay. It's a little goofy shaped, but again, it's as long as we have the nice sharp edges, it's going to be fine. Thanks everyone again for coming tonight. I hope you're liking the English paper piecing so far. I'm pretty excited about this project. It's nice to pepper in these kind of smaller projects while you're in the middle of larger ones too. I love doing that. Whenever I have a large project, I always make sure that I have a teeny tiny project going on at the same time. Thanks, Glennis. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I didn't originally think I was going to do this whole flower thing, but then when I printed out this template, I could just see the flower in it. And I'm like, oh, a flower, I gotta do it. I didn't see it before. Like it was just like the circular shapes going out and out. And then I printed it and I'm like, oh, that was the first time I saw this kind of arc for some reason, you know? Your eye just catches something funny. I think we're gonna mix up these a little. I suppose it didn't really matter. Okay, let's, we got 3 more here. Let's grab some more pinky red guys. Oh, this is some yellow in it too. That might be kind of fun next to it. I don't want too much yellow. I do want it to feel pinky. We'll probably use some of these for like the bigger flower areas too. If I repeat fabrics, I'm okay with that. I kind of want to just err on the side of going like really pinky for this flower. I want it to feel more pink than red. And I kind of have like a lot of red. So let's get some of these pinks in. I think I'll put that guy right there. Dab of glue. So when gluing these edges down, the template comes out easily. So it's a little more difficult to pull the template out than the paper or than just the sewn on piece. But we'll kind of take a needle and kind of try and pop off these seam allowances. Sometimes it might take a little bit of the paper with it. So that's another thing why maybe if you really want to preserve your templates, maybe thread basting is the way to go for you. But we'll pop out, we'll like unglue all these bits by kind of, you know, running a pin under them. And then that's why I punch the holes. So I can take a pin and pop it out. And that usually works pretty well. So that's my plan. Did I? Yeah, I put a little glue on there. But yeah, even with the glue, it shouldn't be all that difficult to pop them out. I'll trim a little bit from here. Okay, let's glue that. Some of these fabrics are a little bit thicker than others. Like this one is a little. The glue's not wanting to hold on as well, I don't think. Actually, it's holding pretty good there. Yeah, if we were thread basting this, it would take us quite a bit of time. Which is fine. That's the whole point. This is a nice, slow craft, like perfect for a movie or perfect for a road trip if you don't get car sick. It's one of the ones where you just lay back and go with the flow of it. Don't worry about getting it done quick or anything. It's a nice, chillin' project. Alrighty, last little bit. All right, 2 more and we'll be ready to stitch. And I'm not planning this all out beforehand. All I've planned out is kind of the color schemes and then I've made a pile of fabric. So I'm just kind of grabbing and going. Maybe this is too much like that other one. what about this fun kind of gingham? I'm going to give that one a little bit of press. So everything seems okay on my end tonight, guys, as far as Facebook. So yeah, if you're having trouble, just try going out and coming back in. That might do the trick. Hi, Zeb. Okay. Grab another piece here. Let's see if I can fit him up in this little corner here. There we go. Dab of glue. Some of this fabric isn't even the real fabric from the manufacturer. Some of it's stuff that I've printed to test fabric. Some of it's the strike-offs, which is what a manufacturer makes just to test the colors of a fabric before the real stuff is printed. So a lot of weird fabrics in my scrap bin here. Ooh, this little pink one's going to be cute, I think. So one more after this, and I would like to try stitching another on tonight yet. We'll figure out a good layout for this too, for this first little loop. I'm excited to get started on these larger outside flowers, or those kind of elongated hexagons. I'm sure they have a special name, a more special name than elongated hexagons, but that's what they are. They're elongated hexagons. All these paper pieces, I'm relatively new to English paper piecing, but all these paper piece sizes or shapes, I mean, have special names and everything, more so than just pentagon. I think the pentagons are actually called like chrysanthemums. All right, there we go. One more. Let's get, how about this guy? I don't think I need to press this one. I'll just go up in the corner here. I think like that looks good. And be sure to check out the Wisecraft blog and the blog post about this project and her Facebook page and stuff too. She has a group where they're sharing their progress on here, and it's really fun to look at all that. And you can also share in my group, in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group, so be sure to join that. I have a link to that above, or just do a search for Penguin and Fish Crafters and it'll pop up. But I love checking out everything in there, and it's a group full of nice and lovely people. Yeah, geometry, you know, I was good at math like when I was in school, but you know, it's one of those things that if you don't use it, then it just melts your brain afterwards. You just lose it. Yay, Robin, you joined today. Does this count as geometry? That's a good question. Does this count as geometry? I mean, I guess I'm not figuring out any, you know, I'm not trying to figure out what the length of this to this piece is or anything like that, but I'm sure there's some magic geometry happening here for sure. Yeah, I did use the word pentagon and hexagon. I didn't do like a squared times the square root of whatever is the whatever of the whatever. None of that. Side B times side C is the, you know, equal to or greater than side B, A, or whatever. Okay, enough of that. Clearly I've Don't know what I'm doing. All right. We got all our pieces. Let's kind of arrange them on here. So this is what I wanted as the top. Oh, wasn't that algebra? Yeah, a squared plus b squared. Well, no, that's I watched a whole video on it today, actually. The a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's geometry and algebra. That's the triangle thing. All right, let's try and place these guys. So again, I'm using this as a guide. So I'm trading off my green and my kind of not like the green, the yellow and the pinkies here. We'll put that guy there. We don't want him down here. There. I think that looks decent, right? Let's just go with that. So again, I'm gonna do it where I do these Y stitches one at a time. You could stitch all of these to the octagon if you wanted to all at once. I think a lot of people do it that way, but I don't know. I kind of like doing these Ys and then just keep doing that. So I think that's my plan. Let's sew the next Y on right here. Again, I like starting at the right side. So when I'm like this and folding it over, I like starting from the right side and going to the left. So that's what I'm going to just rotate as I go. Just going to leave all those guys hanging out there. I'm excited to get some of these teal ones on. I think that'll be fun. So it'll have this effect, hopefully, of this flower with the leaves, but just with the patchworky stuff. All right, Zeb, get back over here. I need the size 10 needle again. And I'm using new thread. There was probably enough thread here, but it gets so crinkly that I like starting just a new fresh piece. There we go. And again, I don't use that much either. No more than 12 inches for sure. All right, I'm gonna tie myself a little knot. Oops. Almost lost my thread. Oh, I might have. Almost, not quite. Almost lost the thread from the needle. All right, grab our centerpiece here and put the right sides together. Why don't we get a little clamp for this again? I'm lining up the 2 points. We'll put him right down there. Oh man. Yeah, I went all the way through calculus in high school. But the class that I really actually liked in high school, but I was so bad at it. This is when I knew that, yeah, I'm not going into anything math, but it was so fascinating, was tech physics, because it was finally like math applied. Like it was like, what's the angle of the arc of the highway so that if someone's just driving straight, the highway arc will kind of keep them on track. Like it was just things like that. It was actual things in real life. So that class was awesome, but oh man, I was not smart in that class compared to everyone else. You sewed all the pieces to the hexagon. Oh, you can, Renee, that's perfectly fine if you sew all the pieces to the middle first. That's totally a legitimate way of doing it. I think that's actually the typical way of doing it. People sewing all the pieces on and then hitting up the sides. I suppose we could have done it that way, but I don't know. I like tackling these Y seams as I go. That's a nice thing. It doesn't matter so much. As long as you get everything where it needs to be, then it's the right way. Yeah, calculus, that's where math started losing me. I was okay with algebra and geometry and all that, although now I don't know any of it because it's all like memorization of stuff, of concepts and all that, but that's all I got. But yeah, once calculus got there, then then I knew that was not for me. So it's stable either way. Oh yeah, I mean, like once you're stitching on, you're fine. It's stable. Like I'm not worried about that at all. Maybe I'm not understanding you quite right, Phyllis. All we're doing is like puzzle piecing this together, and whatever you sew to whatever, as long as it's in the right spot, is a-okay. You're always thinking about it from one corner to another. So I'm just going from here to here. That's all what my brain's thinking. And then I'll flip it up and go from here to here. Oh, you sew the, oh, that's interesting. That's a good point, Kim. So Kim's saying is that she sews on all the side pieces first because then she can pop out the middle piece. Because like I said earlier, once a piece is surrounded, then it doesn't need the template to hold the seam allowance anymore. So in theory, that might make the Y seams easier because you don't have to fold the paper because the paper won't be there anymore. You'll have taken it out already. So that's a good point. Oops, I'm gonna catch on my wonder clip down here. I actually don't need that wonder clip anymore. Yeah, Lisa, I probably should have done that. That wasn't even a thing that occurred to me in high school that you could drop a class. It was just what you did. You did the next thing and the next thing. Man, I think if I went back to high school now, I'd make a whole lot of better decisions for classes. Or more ones that made sense for me, but well. Senior year, I started being like, I'm not taking that class. I don't want to do that. Even though it would have been like the next step. I'm going to take this class instead. That's when I started making decisions on what I really wanted. All right, so I'm going around this corner twice, and I'm going to just loop it through to make a little knot again. All right, and that's the first side. Let's get this second side done, and I think we can call it a night at that point. So yeah, I mean, I could sew all these on. The nice thing about that is I could have started here and just kept going. I think the reason why I'm stuck wanting to do these Y seams is because I really want to make sure that my points, these kind of Y seam points, really match up well. And I feel like if I just go all the way around, I won't have this other piece to kind of match it up to, but I don't know, maybe that's silly. I should probably just try it sometime, going all the way around the outside. All right, I'm gonna throw the wonder clip on there, and I'm just gonna bend that middle piece slightly, and that allows me to match up these seams. So I'm gonna go through the yellow and red corners now. Pink, we'll call it pink. And go through there twice. Maybe get a little knot going in here again. There we go. All right, now let's whip stitch down the side. Oops, I missed the threads there. The one thing with, oh, I missed, sorry, I missed a bunch of guys' comments. Sorry, if you guys asked a question, throw it up there again. I missed a bunch of things. Oh, just tack that spot as I go around. Yeah, I could go around. I suppose I could try that with the rest of these, going around them. Yeah, we could do that. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe tomorrow we just go around the whole center octagon and give that a try, since I haven't done it that way before. That would be a-okay. I would still, at every corner, I would still do my double little tack that double, like going around twice. I think that's still pretty important. Really hold those corners in. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it this way either, though. The nice thing about this is that I can keep my thread short because I'm just doing these two sides. When my thread gets too long, then it gets all twisted and a little unruly. I suppose that's what the thread heaven's for. Oh well. All right. Now I'm at the corners. I'm gonna make sure I grab both of those real well. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll give it a try just because I haven't done it before. And I like doing that with crafting. Let's give that. People seem to be doing it that way. What's the buzz about, you know? All right, got that little knot in there. I think I'll do one more of those. Probably not necessary, but we're doing it. Second little knot. And I'll just tuck it in the back here again. There we go. Throw my pin back in Zeb. We will trim that. Get rid of that guy, the wonder clip. And there we are, our next little piece. So it's coming along here. We got all these guys are ready to go. So yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll sew all the pieces all the way around. I'll probably start up here so I can go left. Oh wait, no, I'd start here so I can fold it and go right this way. Yeah, go all the way around, and then we'll hit all these little sides. And I'm okay with jumping on the back too, so I could go do this side, then jump, and then do this side. That's okay. That jump isn't going to be showing up on our front at all, so that's good. But I think we'll call it a night there. I'm going to flip you guys around, and we will call it an evening. Alrighty, hello again. So here we are. We got our little center going. It's always interesting, I think, to see it with a person next to it. This is gonna get really big. I think it's gonna be like around 18 inches or so when we're done. This is the top. I think it's gonna be cute. I'm excited. We'll keep going. Same Zeb time, same Zeb channel, exactly. Bonnie, here we go. Boop, boop, boop. He's so cute. All right. So this will go up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies when I'm done here. You can watch the replays there. If you hit subscribe on YouTube, then you should get an email once the post is ready, just as a reminder. And it will also stay here on Penguin and Fish. And I hope you guys check out the Wisecraft book and this project. And please share in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group too. Just answer the question and I will let you in. And that's how it works. So awesome, guys. Later, Gators. Yep, Kathy. Night, Zeb. Phyllis, I'll tell him you said goodnight for him. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Central tomorrow. Awesome, guys. Good night.